shift to Honorable Semuju. Our fly on the wall told us that there's a group of members of UPC who made it to Changkwan's and had a private meeting with His Excellency. Are you aware of this?
No, but there are rumors circulating around. At least there's one who I'm very sure of having an arrangement, but we'll deal with it as it comes up.
You've heard of it?
There's one I know definitely who has an arrangement.
Could this be paving way for another cooperation that you're not aware of?
Okay. The cooperation will not be with the party. As you said, if somebody had a private meeting, it's a private meeting. When we released 2 of our members to join cabinet, we met as the UPC cabinet, we discussed it, we resolved, and we went ahead. In this particular case, we have not discussed any arrangement, and what occurred leading up to this election, the way UPC was injured by being denied an opportunity to present like a realistic health manifesto, which the Ophonos and team have no idea about, to the people of Uganda, we have injured. Some of us are still injured. So how any relationship will be, it has to be based on what works for the people of Uganda. I am not interested in any of this nonsense of theirs, but they're not capable.
So did your marriage with NRM collapse?
I don't know of any marriage.
Did your cooperation with the NRM
Was there a wedding which I missed? I'm not aware of any marriage.
A marriage doesn't have to have a wedding accompanying it.
Oh, there's no, okay. Let me put it this way. let me put it this way. People want to trivialize things which are very serious. The time we started engaging, or at least on my side, started engaging President Museveni was during the peace process. And during the peace process, we needed disengagement. If you think about difficulties, during the campaign of 2006, I went to Lira Regional Referral Hospital. It wasn't then called Regional Referral Hospital. I went there. We had 2.5 wards of malnourished kids in Uganda. What messed me more was this star, Angelique Kidjo, was a UN ambassador, had come touring, and I'm there in this ward in Lira, and you have 2.5 wards of malnourished kids in Uganda, and the places where it should never happen. They're there in Lira. That was Lira, 2006. So 2005, 2006, we needed disengagement, we needed peace. And it's what took us, some of us, to the bush to meet Cohen and also to Museveni to get this peace.
And you surrendered too?
I didn't surrender anything. I've never surrendered. What we agreed was some level of cooperation. And for me, what I've seen which I've achieved.
Did your cooperation with NRM cease?
When the principle of NRM, but this is something which will maybe discussed on some other level, but denies or plays a role in denying UPC an opportunity to present. I was comfortable coming third. I knew I had a podium. In racing, podium is great. We fight for podium.
In simple terms, do you still have any relationship with the NRM or any cooperation of any sort?
At this moment, you can say the cooperation exists in the sense that there is still a cabinet member, but that ends with this term.
Noted. Honorable Semuju, what are your big takeaways from the Changkwanzi Summit retreat?
The Changkwans, the previous ones, were social gatherings, people bonding and trying to get together, and as Dombo said, to try to understand each other and how they will work. But at the very beginning of Parliament, Mr. Museveni meets his troops. He will meet all of them either in Changkwanzi and then he will begin meeting either district by district. There was time he was meeting younger MPs 10-10. That time he had camped in Ntbs. Because many of them, all his contemporaries, I think the only ones who have come back to Parliament is Chiyonga.
Tumukunde.
Tumukunde is both. He's contemporary but younger. But people of his age is Chiyonga, Professor Kamuntu, the Rugundas have gone. So he needs to understand the new team and how to work with it. And he does that at the very beginning of the term. And I think Chankwan's was more about that. Cohesion, not so much. Understanding the NRM agenda, not so much. And it isn't a bad thing for you if you have a group to go and meet and socialize and you understand them. Often upon we will. Parliament is a very difficult place. This afternoon, we are discussing the budget. The preliminary discussions, the committee is presenting reports. In the road sector, I think 2-point-something trillion has been provided. The last time Katumba Wamala made a presentation, the areas, the money we owed to contractors was more than 5 trillion. And some of them had even abandoned sites. We spent nearly 3 hours. But this afternoon, MPs were opening the debate as if it has never happened. Each MP, and I told them, and they were very angry with me, I told them, Tamaka roads cannot be for grazing. If you read reports of World Bank and IMF, a return on public investment, especially roads, the world average, the return is 6%. In Uganda, it is 0.08%. Because of the choices that we make. You have more than 80% of the vehicles in Kampala metropolitan, and there are no roads. You go to areas where there is no economic activity, where there are no vehicles, they have roads. And that's a debate you will have. Even those who are in Chankwans, the one you said they are trying to understand, they were in Parliament. I want a road here, I want Tamaka. Ours should be paved. Because essentially you are dealing with people whose levels of depth is councillorship of sub-counties. The point Dombo made, they will not understand it. They have messed up everything. I was a journalist in Parliament when that Parliament took over scholarship for university, and they said we should spread them equally. But they were also, you see, they were changing nothing. I came from a village. I qualified in Masaka, qualified for a scholarship. Not because I come from Masaka, because they put up a cut-off point and I got there. They said, no, now everybody should get. You spread them, Karamoja gets 10, Kabera Maido gets 10, even roads. So the return on public investment in Uganda is 0.08%. The world average is 6%. So even if you continue pumping money into the roads, as long as you don't choose the right roads, more than 80% of the vehicles are here. More than 80% of revenue is from here. But because you want votes from everybody, so Domo, the points you make that MPs will understand why you are doing Bunyoro roads, you have to go to Chankwanzireke every week to get them to understand. They think that the rito is there, you just spread for everybody to eat. The M7 does it.
Did you in the first place follow what was?
I was following through the media, and I saw, but sometimes in the media it's very difficult to follow each and everything. Like the presentations, I didn't see many of them. The media was speaking the usual things, but I don't know who the people speaking there. I saw Mao complaining he had been removed from the list. Mwenda had been removed. I don't know why the Dombos were removing them. At one time, I nearly filed an application to go and speak to them. I said, why don't I, since they have gathered here, 400 people, why don't I file an application to go and speak to them and make a presentation? Because it's very annoying. It's very annoying that you turn parliament into a council, a district council meeting, where people are demanding from Mabati to go and roof a nursery school. And that's the quality of leaders and debate that we have. So Chankwanzi served its purpose, that Mr. Museveni and the NRM infrastructure will want to gather all their new recruits, understand them who they are, and then take them through Mchaka, teach them how to shoot, and then release them to the world.
What's your take on the 100 million cash bonds per MP?
First of all, you must understand, he looks at the country as his estate. Ofono wants to rationalize that this money is in the budget. You can't have money you are giving every day. How much money? In the budget he has
donations.
It's 130. But every day 7 is donating money, whether you are TikTokers, whether you are, the other day was even giving prostitutes in Mbale. So every group that will cross his path, there will be money to carry. That's the biggest job he's doing. Renting support. If you correct some people, some musicians, you go there, he will give you. If you take witch doctors, he will give you. That's the biggest job that Museveni is doing. The only difference is that now he's doing it publicly, I think because of old age. There was a time he met with the MPs, he was giving them money, and he said, if the public discovers, we deny. That time, that is the training he was giving MPs. Now he didn't even allow them to deny. He was giving it like an old man in full view of camera. But Parliament, it undermines Parliament. I remember when we were swearing in either the 10th, one of the things that troubled me with the Honorable Namboze was how the country views MPs. Because we arrive at Parliament and the stalls that are available are for banks to lend money, not bookshops to read. But the whole Parliament is littered with tents. If you want a loan in 1 hour, come here. If you want a Namboze and I said, here, this is how we understood. This is how we understood by the public. And I said, how? Who allowed these banks to come here?
So what kind of perception was created when the president came out
going to Parliament,
to bankroll them?
Going to Parliament is about money. Welcome. Fono 100 million is here. So all of you guys, we can feast. So he's welcoming them. And I don't know, because you don't have to do it, even if you have to bail out MPs, must you do it that way? Then they're swearing in, I've told you, maybe they will stop them now. There will be banks in the Parliament processing loans. So they have made the whole project of Parliament look like a cash bonanza every day, chasing.
Do you care about the public perception of MPs?
No, let me first go back to make some quick response. My brother, Honorable Akena, says he has never, first of all, Akena has never had any confidence in NRM, except when it serves his personal, immediate personal, his family interest. Then he will appreciate what NRM gives him. And you had him. He said, the corporation, he knows one person, one minister. We all know, of course, that one minister takes the government picks the fruits of the corporation to his house and to their children. So that shouldn't surprise us. But if the NRM policies were not working and strategies were not working, Uganda wouldn't be what it is today. And what is Uganda today? Uganda is more stable, more tranquil. It has expanded in every way you may think of. Where the roads, they have expanded. Schools are many. Education institutions, let me say so. Health services by government and private have expanded. Even equality, but it's not sufficient. Why? Because we have not been able to raise the level of productivity, profitability, and therefore revenue to match the cumulative defects. Our trajectory as a country today, we were told by the Secretary to the Treasury, Dr. Ramadan Govi, because he was among the experts who gave us pointers to where the direction, the state of the economy of Uganda, and he said there's a think tank at Harvard University in the US that tracks 148 countries, and last month or the other one, it released its findings that Uganda is on the world stage is among the 10 countries that are going to make tenfold growth. I'm not sure if Harvard think tank can tell a lie, but they put issues that Uganda must deal with. One of which, to focus more on road, focus on energy, focus on ICT, focus on continuous stability, and sharpening the human resource. If we do those 4 or 5 things, according to those people, Uganda will grow exponentially. Now,
well, we've always been listed in many ways as a progressive country.
You know very well that we have now entered the middle income lower. No. You just don't enter there. I'm surprised, the Honorable Assembly, that you have spent 15 years in Parliament and you don't know that there are international standards and international bodies that give you credit, and you can cross-reference whether what you think you are, indeed you are, using their benchmarks. Mm-hmm. So, the NRM policies haven't failed as Honorable Akena would want the world to see. Because if we had done so, we would not be having close to 10 million children in school at the different stages. Our human resource, the children who are graduating out of medical school today, are still as marketable as they were in the 60s, in the 70s. The only issue is today we are graduating many more people than our own, than before, but also than our own capacity can absorb. And so, in that reference, Chankwanzi is a good place for us to reflect. We were told by the clerk to Parliament.
There's public perception about
No, I'm coming. The clerk to Parliament told us that overall, 58% of members of Parliament didn't make it back. The ones in the 11th Parliament, include the ones who failed elections. Now, leave the ones who opted not to stand. They were eyeing bigger things and it missed them. In NRM, out of 365, only 156, I think, returned. Meaning that a bigger group of the NRM MPs who were in Chankwanzi and the independents now allied to us are overwhelming the ones the old ones. It therefore becomes necessary to have some form of interface, regardless whether you think that those MPs have no capacity to absorb. But I want to believe that any exposure helps somebody improve. I don't think Honorable Semuju, my former newspaper man, with me, has remained the same, a newsman, just writing what Ken Chambers was saying. You know, Semuju now is among the top notch members of Parliament. Yes, so Honorable Semuju, you have improved. I don't think you have remained the same. So I don't even understand why you think that a councillor cannot raise. In other case, some of those councillors have the same academic qualification. Okay.
At one moment, now, you were a tutor at Chankwanzi.
Yes, and
today you were in the room.
Yeah, it is good for a professor to come to a discussion, a seminar, and just pays attention, like what the Honorable Dombo was telling you. I teach in Chankwanzi up to now, but in this retreat, I was called as a student, I listened, and I can tell you, I did not go to the podium to ask questions, but I was taking notes.
Yeah, but is there anything to get you rolling in the
yes,
next,
yes, I told you that there are many things also I didn't know. Because when you listen to people, different people, you cannot say you're the only one who knows. For example, I had never met those many members of parliament, and being part of them, it has taught me something that, for example, you need to show humility. I was meeting a 24-year-old medical student, medical professor, Dr. Lakisa from Lebtong. 24-year-old, she has just come out of, she's a dentist. She has just come out of school. She's now there. I met another one from Vura, a young girl of 24, who took on 8 men and defeated them. Now, you sit with them and you get to understand what drove them. When I was entering politics, I was at 24, I was a little older. Now, you get to understand what drove these many young people to national politics.
How shameful was it watching your colleagues making personal pleas to the president?
That's what you expect. For example, getting to know what drives an 84-year-old person who has lived it, Professor Kamuntu. Professor Kamuntu ran for member of parliament in 1980. He was the minister, ambassador for protection. Returning, since NRM came, I think he came in 1996, 2005. He has been in parliament, has been minister in many decades. He lost election 5 years ago, comes back. Dr. Kiyonga lost the election 10 years ago. This was the only MP who was elected on the UPDM ticket, although he didn't take his seat, 1980. He has been a member of parliament and minister since 1986. He lost election and still has the courage, the drive to come back to run for member of parliament. Is the chancellor of Makerere University. It is nice to see, to sit with him and see what drives, to study his inner person, what drives him, and the perspective of different people. So yes, I'm a lecturer there, I teach there, but you get to learn. But most important, really, what Dombo said, that it was a good thing for us. It is important for us just to know who is this person. In my case, who is well known across the country. Many people will come and say, I have just been watching you on TV. In my village there in Maracha, we are just watching you on TV. So you are the one. I want to touch your hand. You know, things like those. Is part of the things that give us the bonding.
Exactly.
And that bonding is part of the cohesion, is part of the ideological mentality, is part of, listen, is part of the strategy.
I need to bring in,
it's part of the strategy. Yes. Because NRM was there for those 3 things.
Thank you. Honorable Dombo. Yes. I saw a bit of a contradiction. Here is the president telling MPs to avoid loan sharks, to avoid corruption, and then he doles out 100 million to every MP. That has widely been described as a bribe to MPs.
Bribe to do what?
To tow his path.
You know, take it or leave it. President Museveni is the chief executive of this country. And is in charge of the internal resources. And some people who don't know him, when we first interacted with President Museveni about the indebtedness of members of parliament, I was a commissioner in parliament. And at that time, members had borrowed money at variable interest rates. At that time, we had not even negotiated with banks to fix. Now banks have got a fixed rate when they are lending members of parliament. And the rates varied to above 30%. And the money that was being deducted from members of parliament was a lot of money. So somebody, an investor in quotes, came and said, made a proposition he wanted to buy the loans of the members of parliament so that he services them over a period of time. And we had a discussion in the commission under the chairperson of the Right Honorable Kadaga, until we said, but even when this sounds very attractive, we chose to share it with His Excellency the President. We thought it would be very unpatriotic to enter into such a deal with a foreigner when the head of state doesn't know, because it may have security ramifications. And indeed, when we discussed with the President, he rubbished it right away. He actually quoted a Kinyankole proverb, which says that you cannot borrow a neighbor's hand to clean your bums when you go to poo-poo. That's the proverb he told us. Oh. He said, now if a foreigner bails members of parliament out, to whom will they pay allegiance? And what will it be for the country? And
so was the president purchasing allegiance this time?
No. I just want to give you this background to show that he's a man who understands what is happening. He's already aware that banks have started offering members of parliament. There could have been members of parliament who have even picked already some money from the banks. And was saying, watch out, don't do this. He was very specific on the instructions he gave. He wouldn't wish to see them going back to him, that they don't have money, they have just come out of elections, and they have challenges. When I was commissioner,
so ideally, wouldn't that be done pro rata? Wouldn't it be prudent?
That's what I'm telling you, that when I was commissioner, we did it for all members of parliament. And I was very disappointed when Honorable Afula Ogutu, the following day after I came from Chankwanzi, he called a press conference and said his members of parliament from the opposition, because it was the law, were not going to sign for that money. And they rebelled, most of them. They went and picked the money because they were equally hardened up. And to me, I was very disappointed. Actually, I met him and said, when we negotiated and requested the president's intervention, we talked for the entire parliament, because the commission is a commission for the whole parliament. Now, when the president accepted, the opposition chose to behave the way they did. The president is available, and if there is an opportunity that he can use part of the public resources to save the image of the people who are going to be in charge of the affairs of this country, so be it, because he has done it in the religious institutions, he has done it with the political parties. Actually, this money you see political parties receiving, the president told us, he went to a church in Ikazo, and he saw members making offertory, and he said religious institutions are bad law. We must begin supporting religious institutions and local political parties so that we tame the ideology.
Honorable Dom, 100 million times 390 MPs?
Simon, ask a member of parliament here, how much money does he get? You are talking about the 20 million.
Quick math. Honorable,
you are talking,
how much would that be?
Just a moment, Simon.
That's about 40 billion.
40 billion.
Simon, you are talking about 20 million, which the members of parliament have already received. Because I saw them receiving the 20 million.
No, it's 100 million.
It is 20 million which the president has paid. And he said he will add them 80 when the money becomes available.
For swearing
when he gets the money. So the 20 million, that money has been paid. Each of these members of parliament earns more than 40 billion a month. So you are talking about, it has been proven, I've been to parliament, and they have made revisions. Such members of parliament who are earning more than 40 million shillings
Honorable Dom,
a month. Now you want to talk about
40 billion shillings.
You are talking about 20 million.
As token for MPs.
No,
see, Dombo
yes.
makes even the matter worse. You're saying they are earning 40 million. Why do you give them another 100 if you're already paying them very well?
Because those ones who are being paid is you who is getting out. These are new members of parliament. They have not been sworn in. They are already in debt.
Next month.
And the gesture of the president, it will be next month.
Yes.
But he gave them before, and they are not earning anything. And that is what the president said. Would that be a problem?
What's the rationale again for this money?
The president, Simon, you are talking as if you are breaking news. The president was live on 10 televisions in the country and radio stations, which he had paid for. Live broadcast. And secondly, he had hosted members of parliament who had, through their interactions throughout the retreat, but also through experience at the head of state, had observed that these members of parliament enter into debt because of the challenges that they go through. In order to try and prevent that, the president said, in order to enable you to go and arrange proper swearing-in ceremony, let me make a contribution. And he announced
I think that's a bit scandalous.
But,
and he announced it. How scandalous is it?
I mean,
see, Dombo,
40 billion of taxpayers' money is going into lavish expenditure for MPs to cater for their swearing in.
Because the money they voted for it. To do exactly that in members of parliament.
That money, nobody voted for it.
Why?
It is not there.
No, it's the donations that you voted.
We'll be back after the break.
What?
Ntbs Frontline.
As Uganda prepares for a defining moment, the nation turns its eyes to the presidential swearing-in ceremony this May 2026. NBS Television brings you unmatched coverage from the Kololo Independence Grounds with in-depth live broadcast that captures every moment as it unfolds. Organizations, development partners, MDAs, and elected leaders take part in this historic occasion. Share your congratulatory messages and connect with millions. Call now 0772 860028.
At Fins Medical University, we offer online postgraduate diploma in medical education, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery (MBCHB), Bachelor of Pharmacy, Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Technology, among others, Diploma in Clinical Medicine and Community Health, Diploma in Medical Laboratory Technology, among others, and certificate programs. Fins Medical University, a chartered medical university in East Africa and is located in Fort Portal. Apply now for the March or July-August intakes. Visit our offices or apply online on our website or contact us for details. Fins Medical University, saving lives, our passion.
Get us to the tips. Scammers love posing as officials from banks or government agencies. Never share sensitive information with unsolicited callers. For hang up, find the official contact and verify their identity first. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission and NBS.
The National Mosquito Net Distribution Campaign is back. No one should die of malaria in this era. It is your responsibility to chase malaria from your home. The good news is that the government of Uganda has once again started distribution of mosquito nets under the 5th Universal Coverage Campaign, also known as the Under the Net campaign. Under this exercise, 1 mosquito net will be distributed per 2 people in every household. A village health team member, a community health extension worker, also known as a CHU, and the LC1 chairperson will move house to house to register members of the household in preparation for receiving their mosquito nets. Do not lie back. Ensure that you register all your household members to receive a mosquito net. On the distribution date, move to your distribution point and receive your net. Mosquito nets protect you and your family members from infectious mosquito bites that lead to malaria. Ensure that you receive the net, hang the net, and sleep under the net every night.
When the news moves, you move with it on AfroMobile. Get real-time updates and the moment they unfold. Choose from over 80 live TV and radio channels and follow current affairs your way on the platforms you rely on the road, in the office, in the middle of your work, or out and about. AfroMobile keeps the story going with you. Download Afro Mobile today and stay connected to every update as it happens.
There are many ways you can practice self-love or care. There's options. For me, it's I could read a book that's self-motivating and get me back on my square if I am not on my square, if I'm down. Meet up with friends that I know once I meet up with this person, I'm going to be so happy because they have this great energy. And surround yourself with really good energy. And then you would take a walk or go to a spa, get a massage. You know, sometimes your muscle, like, let me tell you, there's nothing that is as draining as having sore muscles. So if you could get that squared away, then I would advise anything that's really going to make you pause, shut out everything else, focus on yourself so you can, reset, and it will actually help you go around whatever you're doing in a better way.
Ntbs Frontline.
Don't repeat mistakes. I don't want to hear corruption in Parliament. I don't want to hear corruption in Parliament. If there is corruption in Parliament, how will you control the other people? When you say your oversight, if you the oversight are also sick, who will oversight you? It will kill Uganda. This is suicide. This is suicide. It must not be there.
Well, Frontline continues. The president, while speaking at Chankwanzi, sounded quite unequivocal on the matter of corruption, saying he doesn't want to hear anything about corruption again. But still, in one of his addresses, the president praised Honorable Namuju as an angel who, after spending 50+ days in prison, had transformed into an angel. How much of a contradiction is this? Well,
but this is important, if you allow me. First of all, that one, you have cut aspects of the president, because he said, if you have personal issues as MPs, we can find institutional way to support you. And in that address, then he said, we can create a revolving fund. I think he had forgotten probably that actually Parliament already has a circle, parliamentary circle, from which probably the members of Parliament maybe can add the government official. He said, we can support you institutionally rather than you as individuals going to. Second, on Namuju, he said, and which is done in law, in the court, in the judicial system of Uganda. You can be a suspect, and then you turn to be a state witness. And it's in that address, he said, Namuju and the other three people, the other three MPs, did go to him and other agencies, and they provided details of what is going on.
Isn't that quite telling? Someone that...
Yes. Don't we have suspects even in
court sent to jail and...
Yes, you can, because you can be you can turn into a state witness in the process of investigation and prosecution. Provide that information.
Bakena, do you find the president walking the talk on corruption in the 12th Parliament?
You see, when you have it with a background of money being given to the Oponos, and the question is, where did the money come from? Honorable Dombo is trying to justify that we passed the money with that intent. There's never been such an intent. Flexibility of the president is not just to give money. I go back to the issue we were raising earlier. It's measurable. Certain things are measurable. What UPC achieved in the 60s took the number of beds to 2.4 beds per 1,000. Currently, we're less than 1 bed per 1,000. And we had that problem during COVID. COVID was a high dependency unit beds, intensive care unit beds. We didn't have enough. So if we have a major crisis, we don't have enough beds. At the time when we did that one, population was 7 million. I was in Parliament. I think, Dombo, you were there when we passed the loan for rehabilitating the Obote hospitals when the late Dr. Malinga was Minister of Health. I supported it. We were supposed to rehabilitate 24 hospitals. We only managed 10. We borrowed some other money, we did 2 more, we did 1 more. I am leaving Parliament, the 24 hospitals built in the 60s. We have failed to rehabilitate under this great government, which has done hospitals, which has done beds according to a phono. This is the problem which we're facing. Now we come to the question of money. I have been trying to figure this one out. Honorable Dombo here was talking about money for parties. The money for 2021 election for parties, we did not receive. The president said his people acted in an unchristian manner. Unchristian. I have followed this one because I was following it before being part of IPOD. On the floor of Parliament, I called their actions diabolical. I went further to upgrade them to satanic. Because after this election, 2021 funds have not yet come. 2026 funds have not yet come. Dombo here is saying, no, money has been given to parties. The president was magnanimous. Now I ask, how many t-shirts did you people get? 30 million? 20 million? Or just 6 million of these 7 million votes? You brought maybe 30 million t-shirts. Where did the money come from? There was money per village. Where did the money come from? And some of the operatives of NRM, they say it is costing us more to deliver. Is it the 630,000 they're supposed to deliver? It was costing them more to deliver that 630,000 to the village. But where did this whole money come from? NRM have taken all the resources of Uganda as theirs.
Okay.
Theirs.
Is the president's pledge anything to count on?
How? Can money, cash money, the sort of monies be available in Parliament without the president being aware? In Uganda of today, which you know of Uganda of yesterday. So when people say Parliament, there's money in Parliament, fund in Parliament, I don't believe it is possible without the president's knowledge. And these are things which my problem is we need to address them and we need to have systems in place. This issue of money to this group, that group, let's have systems which work. I should not be able to know, look for this, my elder here, or this one for treatment. We should have systems which work. For education, we have systems which work. It's not the work of the MPs to be the ones taking these people for treatment. Now, that is where NRM has failed and is continuing to fail.
Thank you. Honorable Semuju, in the number of times, in the several addresses by the president, did you feel him setting the tone for the 12th Parliament, especially when he pronounces himself on the issue of corruption?
It was drama.
Sorry?
Drama, Katemba. See, during COVID, Museveni sent a supplementary budget to be processed. I think in good faith, the Parliamentary Commission, because the MPs were also very active during COVID. I have an ambulance that was called a funeral van. That funeral van was on the road. It does, because we carry even people who are dead. It was on the road almost 24 hours during that time. But we're also giving a relief. I even had to go to Ofonopono to look for maize. So the Parliamentary Commission said, MPs, since you guys have brought here a budget, MPs should also be given 20 million. Museveni was on TV, lambasting Parliament, attacking each and everybody. What happened? After that, 20 million must be returned. He went to his NRM MPs and he said, please help me return the 20. I am giving you 40. That's the president you are talking about. After anger, displaying anger in public on TV, they must return the money, 20 million. He asked, please return. Each NRM MP Museveni gave them 40. They were receiving that money from Mukororo, where Kasuri Lumumba had an office. I don't know if it is still there. The money that Dombo spoke about, and you know, because Dombo that time was a commissioner, now is a spokesperson of NRM. And they did something very good, their commission with the Kadag. Said we need to help our own MPs. And that's the reason the parliamentary commission exists. Got a Chinese who was willing to buy the loans and then reduce the interest that people were paying. When Museveni heard that someone else was the one helping MPs, he summoned the Dombos. And Dombo was a very unpopular commissioner and his group to Museveni, because they were doing wonderful work.
They did good work.
Yes.
They did good work.
As a commission, issues of pension, issues of everything, they were very good commissioners and very good leaders.
How about now that is...
now Museveni has taken over. He runs parliament, I think, like a kiosk.
No, what I mean, the Dombo then and the Dombo...
This one here, this one has become useless. So he defends and nationalizes everything.
There are two Dombos I respect. Dombo as the chair of Natural Resources Committee and Dombo as a commissioner of parliament. There I would testify he worked diligently and so fulfilled those roles.
For the institution.
The mouthpiece of NRM.
This one, no. So let me not forget the point I was making.
That's harsh.
The reason Wafula stopped us from getting the money, and we had a debate with him, was because this was an institution that formerly the Dombos had approached, and it was accepting to buy our loans. What does Museveni do? After meeting with Dombo, he said, I can give them money I have here in my Chikondoro. Each MP was giving 112, something like that. 110. And he didn't know who was qualifying. He didn't know where the money was being distributed from. It was from his Chikondoro. So he says, you bring Semuju, I also give him, he will stop making noise.
Did you get?
No, I didn't. But I told Wafula if they call me, I will get, but they never called me.
So you can't blame the guys who got...
Maybe they brought it. They may not have called you, but they brought you.
No, they didn't. I told Wafula we should go and get the money. But Wafula said, don't, please don't. And I think many opposition MPs didn't, because of Wafula's intervention. So that money was from Chikondoro. The man stopping a formal transaction between parliamentary commission and a financial. And the only reason he did so was because he never wanted parliament to be independent of him. So he must be the sole provider. And Domo wants now to thank him. He's a very good man. He didn't do it in good faith because he wanted to continue. The same way he gave the 40 million. He said you can take back the 20 if you have eaten it, but you also have some 20 as pocket money. So in Chankwan's, the context is that it is him who must personally solve people's problems, but not the institution of parliament.
You've heard the president, and it's actually embedded in one of the resolutions. Top of the resolution, intensified fight against corruption.
You see, you go back to Wasolule as a deputy to Augustine Ruzendana, honorables. Wasolule said corruption is licensed for some. If you go and get the money and you are not one of those who are licensed, you are in trouble. Like you've seen this issue of Mavati. I have never understood that from Vice President to Prime Minister to Speaker to everybody, that is Nandutu who is in prison. Really? Who can justify that? That in a group of more than 40 ministers, senior government people, they have picked this populous young girl and dumped her in Ruzira. And they are fighting corruption. So that's the 7 way of fighting corruption. She may have done something that we don't know. So the punishment is not because of the money that you have taken. It is because of something else. So that's why Namujo, my sister, has become an angel. because I think they're also being punished maybe for something else. Because at that time, you must understand, Museveni has had a running battle with the parliament over budget. Do I have the final say or parliament has? So when the issues of corruption in parliament came, he thanked God, the same way he thanked God when COVID came, that now he will restrict people's liberty. So this whole campaign about corruption gave Museveni an opportunity to resolve a long outstanding problem he has had with the parliament over budget. So he now brings a budget where he doesn't allow even a comma to be removed.
If you could listen to his interjection, yes.
Simon, I just wanted to just make an interjection on two issues. The first one is that the way our administration is structured, the appointment of the Auditor General reports to Parliament on the things of corruption. All other commissions are reporting to Parliament. And what happened to the previous Parliament and to the members of Parliament, which led to the honorable members going to apologize and turn into state witnesses, does not give a good reputation to the institution of Parliament. And it was important that the President came out very strongly in order to caution the current Parliament that before they go to Parliament, perhaps the President may not be as magnanimous as he has been when he is going to be dealing with them.
So who is the President in the judicial process now?
But this matter of the 4 MPs, the matter stalled. I don't know that it's Museveni who caused it. Reason, under the Anti-Torture Act, the Honorable Akamba, especially the way he was grabbed, he asked a constitutional court referral that his rights had been violated, and very clear.
That's the same with the former minister of Karamoja, the one from Namisindwa. Yes. The reason why she hasn't been sentenced or whatever, her case hasn't moved, is because she was clever and went and alleged human rights abuse. And they stopped her criminal trial for the Mabati.
So I now understand that it is Museveni stopping them. Because these MPs on their own, I had thought, are the ones who moved the court. They didn't the Constitutional Court to pronounce himself. But in Chankwan's, Museveni says he's the one who forgave the MPs. Maybe he's the one who's doing these tricks.
No.
Because that's what
I am talking about the Mabati.
What is on record is that the Honorable Akamba moved the court that I want.
No, I'm talking about the minister for the Mabati, the main minister.
That's what I'm saying.
And by the Semuju, you are the legislator.
Yes.
In our system, there is no collective guilt. So you cannot say that why is it Nandutu who has been convicted and the rest of the suspects, the people you call suspects, are out. Because every case is judged on its own merit and also how the defense presents their case.
I also live here.
Yes,
and I know only a handful were even subjected to a legal process. The rest, the president said, I forgive them. Because if I'm going to arrest everybody, who will I work with? You have forgotten very quickly.
No, I've not.
So you don't remember him making that statement?
I've not forgotten, but I know that the DPP...
Didn't he say that?
I know that the DPP questioned each of them.
Didn't.
And they arrived at different conclusions.
The president said...
The
president said, I have forgiven them because I will have nobody to work with.
Actually, were asked to return the Mabati. Actually, the majority of them.
Okay, are you aware of the president's statement?
But it was public.
To the Mabati thieves.
The president can't pardon somebody who hasn't been convicted. Use an appropriate word.
No, he said so himself.
No. Him saying so does not qualify in law to be a pardon.
Yeah, he interfered with the court process.
The president cannot legally pardon somebody until he is convicted. Even this is Uganda.
Even illegally. Because the DPP will charge you on the basis of the fact that they have unearthed.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you find weight in the president, in NRM's commitment to fight corruption?
So you
You have now
Resolution number 1.
You have not read the resolution into
The public declaration he was making, he has made it before. And I am telling you that that was drama katemba.
Thank you. Honorable Dombo, how significant or rhetorical is the president's commitment to fight corruption and the NRM, making it a resolution?
You know, running Uganda as a country is very interesting because we're talking about commitment fight against corruption at a time when the minister has just been convicted in the courts of law. And now the debate, instead of applauding the system for doing a good job, you find other voices, very certain voices, now beginning to ask why only Nandudu and why not the one so. Because every incremental gain in the fight against corruption should matter and should be applauded and should be applauded.
Dombo.
You have just said yourself that somebody went and used the court in order to defer. You are the one who has just said it here.
Yeah, but
that's not selective.
But the president appropriated.
People are just being ingenious.
The president appropriated it and said, I am the one who forgave them.
People are just being ingenious, using their knowledge of the law in order to fight against what is happening. Running Uganda as a country, and what has enabled President Museveni to be head of state for these 40 years and enabling NRM to be in charge, it has been balancing, doing right, passing legislation, but where it needed talking to people, to Ugandans, like when the president was talking to members of parliament, he even did that. Not because he's weak, but because from his vintage position, he knows that running Uganda, there are a number of challenges. And let me tell you, why are we grappling with the corruption? Corruption is attractive and it is sweet for those who delve in the practices of corruption.
Today you pronounce that I will not tolerate corruption. Tomorrow you are pardoning the corrupt.
Under the law,
how awkward can that
be?
Under
the law, the president is mandated. Under the law, he can do that because I know Nalo Murinda Viri Maso had challenges and the president pardoned him legally because he's authorized under the law to do.
You remember there was that cow of Ntunga Mokabale during the CA elections? You remember the most recent case? My young brother Jamwa? And he has done so in the cases even of death penalty.
So, for the president to do that, he does that on advice of the board which he has been set up and gives and gives recommendations why that one must be done. But while
that's literally preaching water and then you drink wine.
Absolutely, because that's what Jesus did.
Hey.
Aren't you a Christian? What did Jesus do when they were going to condemn a woman who had fornicated and was going to be stoned to death? What did he ask? Was he condoning fornication by asking that question? That if you have never done it, be the first throw the stone. He was just telling them that we are human beings operating in a situation that has got its own challenges. But I want to tell you, the president's commitment and the capture of that in this resolution from Chankwanzi is very specific. The members of parliament should know that they owe the public a duty to do a good job so that they can attract reports and even whistleblowers to come to parliament. When you were in parliament, there are whistleblowers coming to parliament to tell us. But now when the members of parliament become the problem, then the whole government structure becomes the problem.
So is it a new dawn? Are we looking at the 12th parliament as saviors, as a very new crop that is going to be very loyal, very honest, and non-corrupt?
The president met the people. He told them the vision of the party, the aspirations of the people of Uganda, and the work that lies ahead. And he warned them using that insect in Uganda. It's called what? Kamwaka.
Kamwaka, the one with the bad smell.
He said, don't touch. Because when you touch it and you smell like it, you get into problems. So the president has prepared the members. He has talked to them, but also told them the consequences and effects. He even called a member of parliament, whom he from the previous parliament, and because of the challenges that happened, and the member acknowledged to come in the front, and the president made a statement. So to us, we believe this is a very strong commitment, and it would be very unfortunate from the 12th Parliament, if any member, despite what we went through the other day, is caught red-handed, getting involved in corruption, when there is a has been a committee,
do you consider Namuju an angel?
No, that's what the Bible says. Omuntu omubi bw'akyukanga okuleka obubi we n'akola ebyalagirwa eby'ensonga. That's what the Bible says.
But you are sentencing these MPs.
I don't know why our moderator has taken that direction. But,
because I found it intriguing.
But the law we follow provides avenues how somebody accused, whether rightly or falsely, can by themselves extricate or by the machinery of the state. You know, currently we have alternative dispute resolution, under which, for example, there's plea bargaining. I am sure you have read, most recently, cases where people, you remember that PS, I don't want to mention his name, the one of agriculture, out of the money for locusts and other things, who were caught by the IGG, Bet Kamia, through the machinery, and they went into plea bargaining, and the rules don't even allow, don't permit disclosure of what the settlement is. However, Bet Kamia, before she left office, she came to my office there, Media Center, and she had done a tabulation of how much money she had recovered from people of that nature, officials of that nature, which was in billions. They never faced open prosecution or conviction for that matter. They didn't. So, if the president can intervene through his machinery and talk to the MPs, and the MPs, even if they had just given him how the mischief, the people involved in the record were, that's sufficient in my view. That helps deter. Now, the Bible that most of you follow gives 10 commandments. I want to presume that the Bible was written a little over 2,026 years ago. No fornication, respect to your parents. I don't know what the 10 commandments. Does humanity follow all of them to the dot? In our own case here, most recently, didn't we find an archbishop? Was he hanged by the church? The Church of Uganda, was he? If the church, the religious institution, which we all believe in, most of you can forgive, they don't pursue for the greater good of the church. Because if you are to pursue an archbishop of the Church of Uganda, what are you saying about the doctrine of the church? Now, I just want to end with this. There has been, you have read here a statement, and I have read it variously on the media, that Honorable Norbert Mao and Mwenda, Andrew Mwenda, my brothers, that they were removed.
You know, it is the Honorable Mao who said so.
I want to say it. This should have been one of my brother Dombo's job. I want to say that I read both the draft schedule, timetable of the NRM, from the organizers. I have the last program, timetable. There has never been any proposal that maybe he was desirous to make a presentation. Or some of you think that he is so good.
Yeah, but this complaint was also re-echoed by Namuganza.
There are people who are sulking. Namuganza is sulking. You know, Namuganza says she was cheated in her primaries. I suspect that could be also the reason motivating her to come back, to come for the speaker. And remember, under this current speaker, that was when she was censured. It is human. If you are not a member of NRM, why should you be the one telling NRM how Mao is the best person to present to us or to be the best speaker? The people who are talking that are people who actually known not to like NRM, but they are now the ones recommending to us who should be our speaker. Can you imagine? What logic is that?
Honorable Kenya.
So I want to put it on record that there was never any proposal for Andrew Mwenda or Nobert Mao. Maybe they asked and they were not considered.
That settles the debate, doesn't it?
No, I was only...
Is it normal? Was it a normal thing for somebody who has been opposing you to say, to accost you actually, pester you, invite me?
And he was invited.
Is that normal? You see, the president can invite you, the chairman of NRM can invite you to a retreat. But that retreat doesn't belong to him. That retreat belongs to the NRM as a machinery. So you cannot just brag and say, I am a guest of the chairman. No, my friend.
Do you find merit in discussing the resolutions of the NRM, Honorable Kenya, or we are better off concentrating on what captured the headlines?
First, I was trying to understand.
When is the UPC retreat?
We are still dealing with this.
I think we have about 5 UPCs now. Which UPC are you talking about?
Was in the corner
5 UPCs. You people be honest.
Okay.
5 UPCs where when we were fighting the campaign, there are people who you see on TV, but you don't find them on the ground.
There is the Warubiri UPC.
Well, I didn't see him.
There's Joseph Ochieno.
Have you seen him on the ground?
There is the Ochieno UPC.
Nagongera.
No, at least he's in the studio here.
There is a Dennis Enap UPC.
Maybe the constituency.
And now the Akena UPC.
The constituency in Ntbs or in the media. Yes, me, I know the constituency where we deal with voters.
Okay, there is Enap.
Where?
Dennis Enap.
Where?
He trades as a UPC president.
Where? You know, these are real things. You get this issue where people manipulate, they try to create a false head, but really, the people of UPC know the leader of UPC. When we were in battle, where were they? Now, before we lose track here, there was an issue which came.
And I think that's very important. We actually need to know the person we are speaking with.
I am known. I've been here 20 years. I have led the party from the front.
Yeah, but court threw you out.
Where? Court said I've done my 2 terms, then they said that...
And his advisors are saying it is Museveni helping him through courts to keep him in that chair.
Okay.
He says it's Museveni who's
proceed.
You see, in UPC, we do not trade in rumors, as Ofono Pondo wants to do. One thing which I want us also to put very clear, I don't understand this corruption of parliament. In the sense that as a backbencher, how does this backbencher become corrupt or is able to corrupt things? If you talk about leadership, that would be a different question. And there are things which have happened which are very strange. We had this bill on the fuel, UNOC. I'm on the committee. We had difficulties in the committee. We voted on particular clauses as the rules provide. When the vote passes, that becomes a majority report. We signed our majority report, which was to be presented. And I think those are one of the issues which affect Honorable Akamba, who presented on behalf of the committee. But it ended up being a minority report because overnight, more members who never attended the committee came and signed. So this person who had never sat in the committee, did not discuss, was able to come and sign. Where is that corruption coming from? On the leadership, another question I'll ask about corruption. I've been on the Committee of Natural Resources. We get a loan even before we have sat down to process the loan, we're on the order paper. And you're under pressure to process it. When we raise concern, now, isn't that in itself corruption? Some of it we're able to catch. The one which you caught Amarok, a small company trying to loan Uganda, that one eventually, when we raise concern, the minister now tries to withdraw, but it's in the report of parliament. So what corruption are we dealing with? There was a huge media report on corruption, which came on social media. What has happened to it? Which corruption are we dealing with? Me as a backbencher, I have actually seen very little chance for many of those members. I'm not going to have, where you go to the corruption issue? Corruption would be perhaps if you do things which are not according to your conscience or not according to what, like those people I'm saying who signed the report but never attended the committee. So what corruption are we talking about, which the president wants to fight? Because there's bigger areas of corruption which we see.
Very good question. And when we return, we'll still be looking at how the Chankwanzi retreat fits into the national discourse after the break.
NBS Frontline. In a digital world, not everything is what it seems. False stories today spread faster than truth, leaving us all wondering what's real. Disinformation misleads, misinformation misguides and spreads confusion and fear. Dismiss, a campaign to help you think critically, question wisely, and verify thoroughly. Join us. Let's build a more informed Uganda, one truth at a time. Dismiss, inquire, verify, confirm. Together, let's fight fake news.
Hey, hey, travelers! Are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelcom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-5000123.
There's a guy who's there, but it's as if not there. But then, there's a lady with a boy. 2 boys?
Yes.
Eh?
Yes, I have a stepson.
Stepson. There's a lady there from the same institute that...
Yes, Papa.
Now today, what I want to do, I want to instill discipline by the hand of God.
Amen.
Watch the power of prophecy with Prophet Elvis Mbonye this Saturday, 6:30 p.m. on NBS TV, Uganda.
Across Uganda, the parish development model is paving the way for prosperity, helping families transform their lives through strategic farming practices, like the 4-acre model.
In our Chiwaro, in 1996, we said first acre, put coffee. Second acre, fruits. The third acre, you put pasture for dairy cows. The fourth acre, for food, cassava. The good thing is that now cassava is also becoming a very good cash product, but at least for food. Then, mind you, the backyard. You put poultry for eggs, you put piggery.
I'm in a 1-acre plot of land. In this 1 acre, Your Excellency, I practice this banana plantation. I also practice coffee. I also have dairy, Your Excellency. Every month, Your Excellency, I get 500,000 from these bunches.
The 7 activities we recommended, they have a big global demand.
We have 10,000 Nile tilapia fish and 10,000 African catfish. And when we sell our 10,000 tilapia, we get in one harvest 20 million shillings.
Fruits, especially capuchon, which is cold, can do very high value crops like apples. And then finally, those who are near the wetlands, like the ones in the Bukit who are wasting the wetlands, they should do fish farming, not in the center of the swamp, but at the edge of the swamp.
From coffee farms to fish ponds, the 4-acre model is empowering Ugandans to transform their lives. The parish development model is your pathway to wealth creation. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama, kabalansi? Nkuwaire 15 Mama, nkuwaire 15.
Ompaire 15.
Abantu abakulu atandise obuyayo mwena.
Obuyayo obuliga.
Iwe.
Ngobi yanko
aba mu bibozi sente dange ninzade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
What does unwavering faith look like? This June 3rd, Uganda unites to honor the courage and sacrifice of the Uganda Martyrs. NBS TV, Afromobile, and our other platforms bring you comprehensive live coverage from Namugongo, powerful moments, inspiring stories, and nationwide conversations that matter. Churches, ministries, and value-driven brands align your message with a moment that commands national attention and trust. Be seen, be heard, be part of the story. Call 0761 001 890 now to secure your slot. Next Media, connecting you to moments that move the nation.
Frontline.
Oh yes, we are running the last lap of Frontline tonight as we look beyond the Chankwanzi retreat and what the future holds for the country as the 12th Parliament comes in. Honorable Semuju, what do you see lying ahead for national politics now that MPs of the 12th Parliament are back from Chankwanzi?
There are matters that we are dealing with now. I have seen a proposal that to amend the constitution that you want to enlarge the term of office from 5 to 7. I saw it was being validated between the Speaker and her competitor, Norbert Mao, because I know the origin that it is Museveni who had started it. But he was telling a cabinet, I think, sometime back, before agreement was removed in 2017, that 5 years is a short period. He spent the first 2 years dealing with the appointments. I am fixing UPC people here, and DP, he used those are the exact words he used, UPC and DP. And he said, I work for only 1 year as I begin working. Now they are party primaries for another 2 years. He said, but because human beings are inherently selfish, the NRM MPs picked it since he had started it, and they had quickly changed the constitution. I am one of those who went to court. We went for a different reason, but that became one of the victims of our going to court. So there is uncertainty because of Museveni's age. People who are around Museveni, they know that he's an old man, officially 81. Because the moment you are 81, he has been speaking about himself when he was meeting traders over electronic invoicing in Kololo. He said, for me, I'm about to go and meet the Almighty. So even those who are around him see him as a candidate for meeting the Almighty. And that brings uncertainty. That's why you see there is a group that is hovering around his son. I think maybe if Mzee goes to meet the Almighty, as he says himself, maybe this one. So that group is there. But also, yesterday, government brought the sovereignty bill about the national politics. I am not sure this parliament will have time to deal with it. I'm not sure. Most likely, these are bills that the Fono Pondos will be dealing with.
I'm the other one going to be in the 20th Parliament, and Semuji will be looking at me from from outside.
He will be an analyst.
So I have a feeling that bill is going to be, it might be handled, they will have to withdraw it and then have it handled by that Parliament. So you have two things that are concurrently taking place. Museveni is fighting. I think he's not satisfied that the opposition is completely dead. So he wants to use anything at his disposal to continue hammering at it. But also within his own group, the uncertainty is making people smell each and everything. You had even ministers who had started saying NRM is very bad. They had joined the Mohos who were saying this NRM, they are Marxist, they are everything. And the minister said, yes, it is true, NRM is bad. Now they had gone. When they realized that no, Mohos was not going to be a candidate, now they came back to NRM. The NRM is the best thing. I sympathize with NRM people. They are like school children. When you tell them you sing this song, they will sing. So the ones who are
discipline. Isn't that discipline?
No, I mean, a leader, you should be able to say this one I agree or I don't agree with, really. But for you to agree with each and everything, really,
you should give it to NRM for having cohesion.
You must have something wrong with the. So that uncertainty will be around, and people in Parliament are going to suffer with it.
So you think the sovereignty bill will take center stage?
It will come and pass. What is going to trouble NRM MPs is the game Museveni is playing with his son. There are those who are of double loyalty, but there are also those who think, I mean, I saw minister as a person like Ruth Acheng. I respect her. She's a good minister. One of the people who were given the responsibility that they can execute. That she had also become Perao. I am now the coordinator in so there is going to be a problem with the politics for us in the opposition. We will continue suffering because that sovereignty bill is coming, particularly because Museveni had thought that the opposition will be dead. It hasn't died. So he must continue bringing, it hasn't.
I thought we were waiting for the funeral.
Then you'll have to bury it alive, if that's the intention.
Yeah, I mean, you used to bury people alive.
Yeah, so the NRM can learn. So you will have that playing out in Parliament. You remember the beginning of last term, it was birthday parties for Mohos, and quite people were asking, maybe the man this time is given to his son, looking at their shoulders, and then one by one they started following Mohos, only to realize it hasn't worked. So, with the exception of maybe the seniors like Ofono, who have some stability. The rest of NRM MPs are with no stability. They will be strong in any direction.
So it's going to be more of a rubber stamp.
First of all, on the critical issues I have told you, while publicly Museveni pretended that he was fighting corruption, he was settling an old score. Who has the last say on budget? And he used corruption and he settled it. NRM MPs now are fearful. They can't even change a comma in the budget. It's just a ceremony.
Thank you. I need to tell our viewers that Afro Mobile is on, so don't miss the conversation that is trending live. It's Frontline. Yes, Honorable Dombo, what do you see ahead now that your MPs have been oriented and the 12th Parliament is just around the corner?
Simon, on the 12th of May,